What if I told you the world you live in is just a giant family? A family where the strongest brother suddenly turns against everyone, and everything begins to fall apart, and everything begins to fall apart. Welcome to Hard Work Never Fails. Let's get into today's story. In the Valley of Eldoria, there lived a massive family known as the House of 12. They weren't just siblings, they were the heart of the entire valley. Each sibling had their own home, their own fields, their own people to care for. But above them all stood Arlen, the eldest brother. He was huge, loud, confident, and for most of his life, he had been the protector of everyone around him. When bandits came, Arlen fought them off. When storms destroyed crops, Arlen shared his grain. When disputes broke out, Arlen settled them with a booming voice and a heavy hand. The younger siblings admired him. The villagers trusted him. Even strangers from distant hills spoke of him as the giant who kept the valley safe. But as the years passed, something inside Arlen shifted. He grew richer, stronger, and more convinced that the valley existed because of him. He stopped listening to the elders. He stopped visiting his siblings. He stopped caring about the small problems of the people who once adored him. He began spending long nights locked inside his mansion on the hill, surrounded by guards. Lights flickered through the windows at odd hours. Strange visitors arrived in the dead of night. Rumors spread that Arlen was planning something big, something dangerous. One stormy evening, the valley learned what that something was. Arlen marched into the home of Mathero, a rebellious cousin who had always challenged him. Mathero was loud, stubborn, and never afraid to speak against Arlen's growing arrogance. The villagers heard shouting, then a crash, then silence. By sunrise, Mathero was gone, taken away by Arlen's men without warning, without trial, without explanation. Fear spread through the valley like wildfire. If Arlen could take Mathero, who would be next? The siblings gathered in confusion, but Arlen simply shrugged and said he was a threat. I did what needed to be done. No remorse, no guilt, no explanation. Days later, Arlen summoned the entire valley to the square. He stood on a wooden platform towering over everyone and announced that every household would now pay him a loyalty tax. The crowd gasped. They had always shared freely, helped each other without question, but Arlen's voice was cold. I've protected you for years, he said. Now it's time you repay me. The siblings exchanged fearful glances. Something sacred had broken, but Arlen wasn't finished. He pointed toward the icy northern hill owned by a quiet neighbor named Greenwin. I want that land, he declared. It belongs with us. The siblings protested. Greenwin doesn't want to sell, they said. Arlen smirked. He will. Rumors spread that Arlen had sent spies disguised as traitors, that he had offered bribes, that he had threatened Greenwin's family. No one knew the truth, but everyone felt the tension rising. Then came the annual gathering of clans, a peaceful meeting where families discussed unity and cooperation. Arlen attended, but instead of working with others, he insulted them. He accused old allies of betrayal. He demanded more power, more respect, more obedience. The gathering erupted into chaos. Some clans walked out. Others whispered that Arlen had lost his mind. The siblings sat in shame. When a strange illness swept through the valley, the healer circle offered help. They had always been the valley's protectors during sickness, but Arlen refused their aid. They don't respect me, he said. I don't need them. The siblings begged him to reconsider. People are dying, they cried. We need their medicine. Arlen turned away. I stand alone. And so the valley suffered. Meanwhile, whispers grew louder about Arlen's hidden operations. Villagers spoke of tunnels under his mansion, secret rooms filled with maps and coded letters, nighttime meetings with masked strangers, a private army training in the woods, lists of disloyal siblings he planned to punish, plans to build walls around his estate, plans to cut ties with the elders who once guided him, plans to reshape the valley in his own image. Fear turned into dread. One night, Arlen announced a new decree. Any sibling who questioned him would lose their land. The valley erupted in panic. Children cried. Parents argued. Villagers packed their belongings, unsure of what tomorrow would bring. The siblings confronted Arlen. "You're tearing this family apart," they said. Arlen's eyes were cold. "I built this family," he replied. "I can rebuild it without you." Those words shattered the last piece of hope. The siblings gathered in the old barn, the place where they once played as children. They lit a single lantern, the same lantern their mother used to light during storms. They spoke softly, afraid Arlen's spies might be listening. "We must protect the valley," said Taran, "even if it means standing against our own brother." Leora wiped her tears. "He's lost in his own shadow." The siblings made a pact to support each other, to protect the villagers, to rebuild unity without Arlen's control. Slowly, quietly, the valley began to heal. Not because Arlen led them, but because the siblings finally stood together. Arlen remained on his hill, surrounded by guards, plotting new schemes. The siblings rebuilt trust among themselves. Villagers found strength in unity. The valley learned to survive without depending on one giant. No one knew what Arlen would do next. Would he attack? Would he isolate himself? Would he try to reclaim control? The future was uncertain. But one truth echoed through the valley. A family can survive the fall of its strongest brother as long as the rest stand together. If this tale echoes the world outside your window, remember, stories are mirrors. And sometimes the reflection is closer than we think. If you liked this story, or felt it reflects something happening around us, please do like, share, and subscribe for more videos. Please do like, share, and subscribe for more videos.